Well, hello and welcome to Under the Silence. I'm Bianca Moeschinger, and this podcast, When the Body Says No and the Soul Waits to Speak. This podcast is a space for deeper truths, the gut feelings, the things we carry beneath the surface of our lives, often unseen but deeply felt. As a therapist and emotional release bodyworker, I've spent years holding space in private sessions, witnessing the sacred moments when the body speaks what the mind cannot. And here I share insights and reflections from that work, not to fix, but to honor what's real and to remind you that you're not alone, and perhaps give you some tips on how you might be able to achieve the release within your own body if you're somewhere in the world and you can't get access to somebody who can assist you and hold you in that space and give you some guidance into how emotions move through the body. In the last episode, Chewing on the Truth, we explored the mental dance, the ways we chew on our truth, analyze it, soften it, and silence it to keep the peace. Today we take that conversation deeper into the body, into the chemistry of emotion, into what happens when truth no longer wants to be thought but felt. Let's begin. Music happening now. So welcome back to Under the Silence. I'm so glad you're here. As I shared in the last episode, Chewing on the Truth, I often find myself holding things in, letting truth build quietly inside until I can find the right way to say it or the right way to express it. But truth doesn't always want to wait. And the longer we chew, the more pressure builds, especially if it's really important to us and it's something that really needs to be spoken. So what happens when we can't hold it anymore? When the truth doesn't just stir the mind but begins to speak through the body. That's what today is about. The sacred, often overlooked moment when the body says no, when it contracts, shakes, constricts and tells us very clearly, I can't integrate this doesn't feel safe, this isn't true for me. Whether I'm holding space in therapy or through emotional release bodywork, this moment is something I witness again and again. It starts gently, but when the space is safe and when a person is ready, the body begins to speak. The gut feelings rise, the unsaid starts to take form. It's rarely neat, more like a funnel that's reached its edge, overflowing with unprocessed emotions, silenced experiences, and frozen memory. Moments that were never allowed to be digested, that got stored and stayed stored. And now, they no longer want to go down. They no longer want to be swallowed. They want to come up, to be seen, to be heard, to be expressed. These are not problems to be solved. They are wisdom trying to move and integrate. This is the body saying, listen to me, I know something you've forgotten. Our nervous system is built for this, to protect us when things don't feel right, to contract, to defend, to flee, or, if it's all too much, to disconnect. And we often keep going, functioning, caring, smiling, doing, being, but inside, the soul's voice grows quiet, not because it's gone, but because survival has taken the wheel. And that's what I want to bring forward today, that truth doesn't disappear. It waits. It waits for enough safety. It waits for permission. It waits for a body that's ready to feel again. And when it finally begins to move, there's a homecoming, not to the story, but to the self beneath it. This is why we must not just think our way out of our trauma or suppression. We must also let the body have its say. We don't have to keep living in fear of our voice. As children, safety was conditional. emotional expression was managed, muted, or misunderstood, especially if you're a child, when I was a child, and before that. But here, in this space we are creating, that model can be reimagined. What if we raised children and reparented ourselves, not to comply, but to expand? What if we validated rage, pleasure, grief, desire as natural, intelligent parts of our human being? What if we started to understand the energy of rage, pleasure, grief, desire, just as examples? What if our ability to actually feel those emotions was exactly what we needed to do to allow ourselves to feel full, to feel integrated, to know how to handle ourselves, to actually feel the power within us, and to know how exceptionally connected and powerful we are as beings? What if we showed our children and our inner child that the body's voice is sacred, not dangerous? Because when we honor their truth, we create space for our own. And that's where healing begins. Not just for individuals, but for the systems we're all part of. So if you've been chewing on the truth, if your body has been whispering or screaming, I invite you to pause, to listen, to feel, and to know that your body is not betraying you. It is trying to bring you home. And take a moment to actually listen to what your subconscious is saying. Listen to what your inner child needs from you. And perhaps listen to how your nervous system is reacting and what your will is doing. What is the relationship between the two? And perhaps if we put our will or our mind to the back as a witness and allowed our body a moment to actually feel what it's feeling and realize that it's okay, that the body's innate want in life is to live, and the body has an ability to balance itself and find balance. And sometimes the conflict is between our will and the energy in the body. And then if we open up a little bit to the dance and allow our subconscious to move and shake and twitch and allow the sound to come up, then the energy is not held on so strong and the tension can start to let go from within. And we actually realize that our heart can handle what we feel it can't handle. And then we become stronger. So thank you for joining me today and for listening beneath the surface and coming under the silence. If this episode touched something in you, I invite you to stay with it. Let it move, let it breathe. Perhaps take some notes. Notice what it's triggered in you. Notice if it changes something about the way that you feel and experience the world in your own body. You can explore more of my work at biancamoeschinger.com, or you can join our courses and community at psychosomaticsandemotionalanatomy.com, where I co-facilitate intensives, practitioner trainings, and soul-aligned support in psychosomatic therapy and emotional release. Whether you're healing, remembering, or learning to trust your inner truth, you're not alone. Until next time, speak softly and with care, or loud and with intention. Feel fully and honor what rises. Ciao for now.